Thank you for joining with me. We are reading with the Course Companions. This is Chapter 29, The Worship of Idols. Section 8, Seek Not Outside of Yourself. Please close your eyes if you're able to and join me in prayer. Dear Father, if left to my own devices, my perception will be skewed. I surrender to you everything that I think and feel. God, please take my past, plan my future, send your Spirit to redeem my mind, that I might be set free. May I be your channel, God, and serve the world. May I become who you would have me be, do what you would have me do, go where you would have me go, and say what you would have me say, and to whom, dear God. God, I thank you for my many, many blessings. Please allow me to set aside everything I think I know, for an open mind and a new experience. Amen. Seek not outside yourself. Seek not outside yourself, for it will fail, and you will weep each time an idol falls. Heaven cannot be found where it is not, and there can be no peace excepting there. Each idol that you worship when God calls will never answer in his place. There is no other answer you can substitute and find the happiness his answer brings. Seek not outside yourself, for all your pain comes simply from a futile search for what you want, insisting where it must be found. What if it is not there? Do you prefer that you be right or happy? Footnote 22. This is not to imply that you should choose happiness at the expense of being right. Do you prefer that you be right means preferring to be right about your current view, that happiness is found outside yourself. Since happiness is not found there, wanting your current view to be right means that, as the Course says later, you are holding the goal of being right when you are wrong. If you are willing to admit you are wrong, you can switch to being right and happy. In fact, the only way to be happy is to be right about where happiness can truly be found. Be you glad that you are told where happiness abides, and seek no longer elsewhere. You will fail, but it is given you to know the truth and not to seek for it outside yourself. No one who comes here but must still have hope, some lingering illusion or some dream that there is something outside of him that will bring happiness and peace to him. If everything is in him, this cannot be so. And therefore, by his coming, he denies the truth about himself and seeks for something more than everything, as if a part of it were separated off and found where all the rest of it is not. This is the purpose he bestows upon the body, that it seek for what he lacks and give him what he would make himself complete. And give him what would make himself complete. And thus he wanders aimlessly about in search of something that he cannot find, believing that he is what he is not. The lingering illusion will impel him to seek out 1,000 idols and to seek beyond them for 1,000 more. And each will fail him, all excepting one, for he will die and does not understand the idol that he seeks is but his death. Its form appears to be outside himself, yet does he seek to kill God's Son within and prove that he is victor over him. This is the purpose every idol has, for this is the role that is assigned to it, and this the role that cannot be fulfilled. Whenever you attempt to reach a goal in which the body's betterment is cast as major beneficiary, you try to bring about your death, for you believe that you can suffer lack, and lack is death. To sacrifice is to give up, and thus to be without, and to have suffered loss. And by this giving up is life renounced. Seek not outside yourself. The search implies you are not whole within, and fear to look upon your devastation, and prefer to seek outside yourself for what you are. Idols must fall because they have no life, and what is lifeless is a sign of death. You came to die, and what would you expect but to perceive the signs of the death you seek? No sadness and no suffering proclaims a message other than an idol found which represents a parody of life, which in its lifelessness is really death, conceived as real and given living form. Yet each must fail and crumble and decay, because a form of death cannot be life, and what is sacrificed cannot be whole. All idols of this world were made to keep the truth within from being known to you, and to maintain allegiance to the dream that you must find what is outside of you to be complete and happy. It is vain to worship idols in the hope of peace. God dwells within, and your completion lies in Him. No idol takes His place. Look not to idols. Do not seek outside yourself. Let us forget the purpose of the world the past has given it, for otherwise the future will be like the past, and but a series of depressing dreams in which all idols fail you one by one, and you see death and disappointment everywhere. To change all this and open up a road of hope and of release in what appeared to be an endless circle of despair, you need but to decide you do not know the purpose of the world. You give it goals it does not have, and thus do you decide what it is for. You try to see in it a place of idols found outside yourself, with power to make complete what is within, by splitting what you are between the two. You choose your dreams, for they are what you wish, perceived as if it had been given you. And idols do what you would have them do, and have the power you ascribe to them. And you pursue them vainly in the dream, because you want their power as your own. Yet where are dreams but in a mind asleep? And can a dream succeed in making real the pictures it projects outside itself? Save time, my brother. Learn what time is for, and speed the end of idols in the world made sad and sick by seeing idols there. Your holy mind is altar unto God, and where He is, no idols can abide. The fear of God is but the fear of loss of idols. It is not the fear of loss of your reality, but you have made your reality an idol which you must protect against the light of truth. Footnote 23, we believe, in other words, that we are afraid of God because we think our self will disappear in God. What we really fear, however, is the disappearance of our false self, the idol that we have made. And back to the text. And all the world becomes the means by which this idol can be saved. Salvation thus appears to threaten life and offer death. It is not so. Salvation seeks to prove there is no death. Footnote 24. Proverbs 12:28. In the way of righteousness is life, and in the pathway thereof there is no death, and only life exists. The sacrifice of death is nothing lost. An idol cannot take the place of God. Let Him remind you of His love for you, and do not seek to drown His voice in chants of deep despair to idols of yourself. Seek not outside your Father for your hope, for hope of happiness is not despair. This is the commentary, day 339. This is Robert Perry, section 8, Seek not outside yourself. This section is the introduction of the important concept of idols. The term has been used here and there throughout the course, but in these sections, which extend into chapter 30, it is given a new meaning. Now it refers mainly to things outside ourselves that we think will complete us. A good rule of thumb with idols is this: if it's in your home, it's an idol. On a literal level, an idol is a little figurine we put on our altar and worship and pray to in place of the real God. By calling the things we value outside of us idols, Jesus is implying a range of things, that they have no power and cannot save us, that our reverence for them is essentially superstitious, and that we have used them to replace the real God. We have sought, in other words, to drown His voice in chants of deep despair to idols. Life seems to be entirely a matter of seeking and finding external things that will make us happy. Chocolate, wine, fame, fortune, friends, lovers, motorcycles, cars, the list is endless. Oops. We not only do not question this pursuit, we seem enthusiastically committed to it. It gives us hope every day. But Jesus sees a very different reality here. He sees our lives as but a series of depressing dreams in which all idols fail you one by one. He sees us caught in an endless circle of despair. Idols never deliver what they promise, and after a while, no matter how much we hope, we feel on the surface, on some level, the reality of our situation sinks in. They never have delivered. They are never going to deliver. I see no way out of this endless circle of despair. To really take on board what Jesus is teaching here, we need to get in touch with this despair. What we do not realize is that this despair is the point. It's the end result that we are actually seeking. To understand how that is, we need to understand the thought system behind idols. The fundamental premise is that we are lacking within. We arrive in this world incomplete with a series of gaping holes inside of ourselves. We therefore are constantly acquiring things from the outside to fill these holes. These can range from concrete things like wealth to less concrete things like desired circumstances, to truly intangible things like knowledge in the conventional sense. We can't actually place these things inside of us, but we do the next best thing and consider them part of our identity. We see them as having power to make complete what is within by splitting what you are between the two. Yet, even while we emphasize the outer aspect of our identity, look, we've got a high status job and this awesome Prius that saves the planet, and the very fact that we so desperately need those things is a continual affirmation of the hidden side of our identity, the lacking person we supposedly are. Can you feel that affirmation? Doesn't the fact that you need your avocado toast fixed just right makes a statement in your mind about how brittle and needy you are? Or if your wife hits your car door on the cabinet, those things from the outside, I'm giving my husband a hard time and he's ignoring me. Those things from the outside us can't actually fill us up because they have no life. It's as if we own a crypt that felt empty of life, so to fix it we threw a bunch of plastic flowers and dead cats. We threw in a bunch of plastic flowers and dead cats. How real can our completion be when we have filled ourselves up with things that in the final analysis are unreal? All the external seeking then ends up being reinforcement for the lack we feel within. In the midst of our mansion and servants, we still feel hollow inside. Because of the mansion and servants. Okay, so we feel hollow inside because of the mansion and servants. They are a constant statement that says, look at how hollow you must be to need all this before you can feel some semblance of security. We've all seen people who appear to have the world at their feet, and yet they're more fragile and hair-triggered than a homeless person. That is the point, says Jesus. Something in us, while superficially placating our need for completion, is trying to reinforce our deeper sense of lack. And since lack is death, something in us is trying to kill us. It is trying to kill the true life in us, the overflowing life that God gave us. It does so by proving to us that lack is our reality, which means that the unlimited life from God simply cannot exist. All our external seeking, in other words, is an attempt to be the victor over God's Son within by demonstrating that in His place there is just a big hole. That may sound far-fetched until you realize what a good job we have done. Today we need to ask ourselves two questions. What if my search for external sources of happiness is designed to make me feel lacking? And what if my real nature is so complete already that I could sit alone without a single possession and feel wealthier than the richest man in the world? Thank you so much for joining with me today. The Course Companions, Day 339, Section 8, Seek Not Out Yourself. Seek not outside yourself. I love you. Have a beautiful day. Thank you.